Technological advances have addressed many problems that smallholder farmers face. Tractors help prepare the land, there are improved seed and fertiliser, irrigation options are available, and there are solutions for shelling and milling at the farm and village level. However, the vast majority of farmers are still relying on traditional methods by laying their harvested maize in the sun to dry it. ACDI Voca and ASI have created the EasyDry M500, an open-source technology fabricated by the informal sector that can dry 1.5 metric tonnes per day. We know that an entrepreneur introducing dryers needs them to work efficiently the first time they dry maize. This video will highlight important points that you shouldn't overlook when using the dryer. We're here to help you throughout the process of integrating the EasyDry into your post-harvest workflow. Drying maize is simple. Warm air evaporates moisture from the grain. In the sun, this takes 5 days if it's not raining. In contrast, it only takes around 3 hours to dry 500 kilos of maize when using a mechanical dryer. Every other step in the farmer's post-harvest grain handling remains the same. The entrepreneur can easily transport the dryer by motorbikes to each farmer's location, moving to a new farmer when the maize has been dried. Once on farm, assembling the EasyDry M500 is fast and simple. The canvas is placed inside the legs, and one side of the bed panel rests on the canvas on the top of the metal frame, making an enclosed box. With the farmer, the operator loads about 500 kilos of wet maize onto the bed. Having set up the bed, you position the furnace so the connecting tube is straight and uncreased. The dryer pushes hot air from the furnace up through the maize bed. There should be no gaps between the furnace and the ground. Once you've set up the EasyDry correctly, all other operations are about maximising the speed of drying each batch of maize. The operator must dry at least 3 batches every day to provide the best cost outcome. This happens by creating the hottest flour possible by using dry cobs, a fast flour and a steady, slow airflow. Start the fire using kindling and dry cobs saved from the day before. Wait until the fire is burning throughout the furnace before you turn on the engine. To keep the fire as hot as possible, we put recently shelled maize cobs in the basket over the chimney to heat and dry them before dropping them into the furnace. The dryer creates hot air from burning maize cobs in the furnace that heats up the heat exchanger and passes a steady stream of hot, clean air over it and then through the maize bed. The heat exchanger ensures that smoke doesn't get into the maize. To dry the maize quickly, it's incredibly important to keep the fire burning strongly all the time and not smouldering like a cooking fire. The dryer works best if the engine is set at the idling point. If the engine is not on the lowest setting, it will use more petrol and increase the fan speed, which actually cools down the air and slows down drying. If you put too much maize on the bed, the hot air will not push through it and it will be hard to dry the maize. To test you have not overloaded the bed, you see if a piece of A4 paper will float just above the maize. Regularly turning the maize ensures that it all dries evenly and quickly. Deciding when the maize is dried is normally an agreement between the farmer and the operator, using the traditional methods like shaking the maize in your hand or looking at the colour. The EasyDry can be used outside, in the rain, or in a shed. Entrepreneurs expect to recover their investment within a certain period of time. This will drive the profit margin they expect. The number of days within a year when farmers will pay for this service will drive how much profit needs to be made per day to meet this expectation. The rest of the cost of drying will depend on how much maize is dried per day. As in any business, the dryer's costs are a combination of fixed costs such as daily salary and transport to the farm, and variable costs such as petrol per hour and maintenance. Based on our cost calculations, you need to dry a minimum of 3 batches per day in order to make a profit. If you are working with smallholder farmers that are struggling to dry their maize at harvest, this technology may be a viable solution. At EasyDry VOCA and ASI, we want to help others scale out this technology to smallholder maize farmers around the world.